Hear it everywhere I go. People cannot find a home that they can afford. They can't buy their groceries. And on top of that, we have Trump threatening tariffs of 25%, which put hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs at risk.
The Conservatives want to make people pay to receive health care, and the Liberals are too weak to stop them. Why the Liberals letting Conservatives force people to pay out of pocket to receive health care?
Breaking news. NDP confesses to protecting Jagmeet's pension over toppling Trudeau. This bombshell revelation exposes the true priorities of Canada's so-called Progressive Party. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. While families struggle with rising costs, Singh's NDP plays a dangerous waiting game. Will this betrayal be the final straw for disillusioned NDP supporters? Jagmeet Singh's pension plan is raising eyebrows across Canada. The NDP leader is set to qualify for a staggering $2.7 million pension on February 25th, 2025. This jaw-dropping sum dwarfs the retirement savings of average Canadians, who are struggling to make ends meet in these tough economic times. But here's where things get really interesting. NDP House Leader Peter Julian recently made some eyebrow-raising comments about the timing of potential non-confidence votes. He suggested the party would consider such a move in February or March. Coincidence? It seems awfully convenient that this timeline aligns perfectly with Singh's pension qualification date.
And instead of focusing on these issues, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused on themselves. They're fighting themselves instead of fighting for Canadians.
The Conservatives want to make people pay to receive health care, and the Liberals are too weak to stop them. Why the Liberals letting Conservatives force people to pay out of pocket to receive health care?
All tools, all options are on the table. People are hurting, people are struggling, and so all options are on the table.
The NDP's actions are painting a picture of a party more concerned with securing their leader's financial future than addressing the pressing issues facing Canadians. While they've been vocal in their criticism of the Liberal government, their continued support tells a different story. It's a glaring contradiction that's hard to ignore. This revelation begs the question, is Jagmeet Singh really putting his pension before the needs of everyday Canadians? The optics are terrible, to say the least. Voters are likely to be outraged by this apparent prioritization of personal gain over public service. It's a betrayal of the very principles the NDP claims to stand for. The potential fallout from this revelation could be catastrophic for the NDP. Canadians are already feeling the pinch of rising costs and economic uncertainty, learning that their so-called progressive champions are more concerned with padding their own pockets is sure to leave a bitter taste in voters' mouths. This pension controversy couldn't come at a worse time for the NDP. With the Liberal government facing its own internal struggles and the Conservatives surging in the polls, the political landscape is more volatile than ever. The NDP's strategy of playing the waiting game could backfire spectacularly, leaving them out in the cold when the dust settles. As we dive deeper into this unfolding political drama, one thing is clear. The consequences of the NDP's pension priorities could reshape the Canadian political landscape for years to come. The question now is whether they can weather the storm of public outrage, or if this will be the final nail in the coffin of their credibility. Think the NDP's pension drama is bad.
Hear it everywhere I go. People cannot find a home that they can afford. They can't buy their groceries. And on top of that, we have Trump threatening tariffs of 25%, which put hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs at risk.
Canadian Medical Association is worried about privatization in our healthcare system. They're worried about the real impacts of a dangerous shortage of frontline healthcare workers.
Right now, that's not in front of us. There's no votes in front of us, but we will take each vote. And right now, literally everything's on the table.
You haven't seen anything yet. The Liberals are in freefall, plummeting 20 points behind the Conservatives in recent polls. As ministers jump ship and call for Trudeau's head, we're witnessing a political bloodbath that could rewrite Canada's future. But who will be left standing when the dust settles? The Liberal Party is crumbling from within. Ministers are resigning left and right, and the whispers calling for Trudeau to step down have turned into shouts. It's a leadership crisis of epic proportions, and the vultures are circling. The Conservatives and Bloc Québécois smell blood in the water, and they're not wasting any time. They're pushing hard for an early election, hoping to capitalize on the Liberals' weakness. But here's where it gets really juicy. The Bloc Québécois has thrown down the gauntlet, giving the Liberals a do-or-die deadline to pass key legislation. If Trudeau doesn't play ball, they're threatening to force a non-confidence vote that could send Canadians to the polls. It's a high-stakes game of political chicken, and the tension is through the roof. Meanwhile, Jagmeet Singh is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's publicly stated that he won't help the Conservatives or Bloc Québécois bring down the government, claiming he doesn't want to play their games. But with the Liberals in free fall, Singh's strategy could blow up in his face. Voters are getting fed up with the NDP's apparent lack of action on the issues that matter most. Here's the million-dollar question. What happens if Trudeau throws in the towel before the NDP pulls the plug? It would create a power vacuum that could reshape Canadian politics for a generation. The Conservatives and Bloc Québécois would be chomping at the bit to seize control, and the NDP could find themselves out in the cold. History tells us that these kinds of political standoffs often lead to major power shifts.
And for that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
We've accomplished a lot together. It was important work, but it became very clear to me that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals were far too weak to stop big corporations from ripping off people.
Depends on the votes. And so I want to make it very clear. Justin Trudeau has to go. He has to resign. And because of that, all options are on the table.
Remember the last time a governing party lost the confidence of its coalition partners? It wasn't pretty, and it changed the face of Canadian politics. We could be on the brink of another seismic shift, and the aftershocks will be felt for years to come. The NDP's waiting game is looking riskier by the day. Experts are warning that their delay tactics could backfire spectacularly, leaving voters disillusioned and angry. As the other parties jockey for position, Singh's pension dreams could turn into a political nightmare. The question on everyone's lips is, will the NDP wake up before it's too late, or will they go down with the Liberal ship? The political chess game unfolding in Ottawa is reaching a fever pitch, with the Liberals in freefall and the NDP clinging to power. Canada's political landscape teeters on the brink of chaos. The consequences of this high-stakes drama could reshape our democracy for years to come. As ministers resign and Trudeau's grip on power weakens, voters are left wondering who they can trust. The NDP's apparent prioritization of Singh's pension over immediate action has many questioning their commitment to the people. Meanwhile, the Conservatives and Bloc Québécois circle like sharks, eager to force an election and seize control. This political earthquake threatens to shatter Canadians' faith in their leaders. Will voters ever trust politicians again after witnessing such blatant self-interest? As the dust settles, one thing is clear. The aftershocks of this crisis will be felt long after the votes are counted.